Hello, beautiful people. Nice to see you all. And it's Thursday. So we have another training Thursday today. And the general gist of today comes from the hub. We've been having lots of conversations in the hub and the club, the Naturpreneur Hub and Club, about how we get our message out to more people. And it's a conversation that we've been having in the club because we've actually got a challenge on in there. Hey, Dan, it's nice to see you. Hope you and your Bubba are well. Hey, Kathleen, nice to see you. So it's a conversation that we've been having over here in the hub, and it's an ongoing one. Okay, how do I get referrals? How do I ask for referrals from clients? And the big one, the big juicy one we've been having over in the club is how do I get referrals from doctors and other practitioners? Who else has got that issue? Hello, hello, hello. Is anyone else there? I can see you. Yeah, cool. So the beautiful thing about referrals is it isn't a dirty word. When I first heard the term referrals, I ended up having like this funny little thing about the person that said, you're a referral-based business. And I was like, don't talk to me about referrals. I don't want to hear that word ever again. And I even had a thing about that particular business person. And now I've reframed it. Referrals are actually having conversations with people through word of mouth for more word of mouth to come through. Now, a real conversation is a two-way street. Two-way street. Yeah, Jacinta and Dan, you've got the same kind of thing going on with the term referrals. I totally get it. But having a conversation, right, is totally different. Having a conversation to help more people is totally different. Hey, Anita, nice to see you. So when we have a conversation about this kind of stuff, it changes the way that we go about it. It doesn't become I'm going to win this person over so they send me lots of people. That's a very different vibe to how can I help more people just like the person, the human being that I have in front of me. Now, the first step with referrals, and let's call them conversations to help more people. The first step with referrals in your clinic is that the person in front of you, if they've come to you more than once, they're coming to you because they've got some type of benefit from having seen you. They are coming back to you to give you more of their time, and we know how precious time is for ourselves, right? It's hard to even find the time to do the things we need to do in our business or for our families, let alone for ourselves. And so if somebody's coming back to see you, they've found value in what you are giving them. And if they've found value in what you're giving them, then it's very likely they know somebody just like themselves that will find value in it as well. So by you not asking for a referral, by you not asking or reminding them about the benefit that they got, and if they happen to know anybody else that might need the same kind of benefit, you're actually doing a disservice to all the people out there who don't even know you exist yet. By holding back and not saying anything, there is there's exponential amount of people with chronic conditions out there, and people getting sicker and sicker every day. And by you not saying anything to somebody, you're actually holding that type of healthcare, the type of healthcare that we're really good at, back from the people who need it. So instead of not saying anything or hoping or manifesting that they will talk to somebody else, it's as simple as a conversation. And the conversation goes something like this. Hey, isn't it amazing and acknowledging this person, hey, isn't it amazing what we've done in such a short period of time, from you to go from here to here, whatever here to here is. They might have lost a couple of kilos. They might have doubled their amount of energy. Or even if they didn't double it, hopefully you're registering on their follow-up forms some type of measurement on how they're going. So the main symptoms, for instance, say for energy, for sleep, for that kind of stuff, out of 10, that when you first came to me, you were a 2 out of 10, and now, only X amount of time later, you're an 8 out of 10. Do you know anybody else in your family or with your friends that would love the same kind of help? Because if you do, here's a card for them. It'd be great to see them. I'm really committed to helping more and more people on the planet feel as good as they can. And you're an amazing example of that. I'm so glad that you've done the work that you needed to do it. So it's not I'm a referral-based business and can you please give me referrals? Here's all my business cards. Because isn't that icky? It's kind of weird and like, ugh. It's not a conversation that you want to be in, but a conversation where you are applauding the work that somebody else has done for themselves, because it's not up to us to fix somebody. It's up to them to take their journey. It's their choice when they take those tablets, take that medicine, make those lifestyle choices, to choose for themselves, look after themselves. So applauding them for what they've done. And then if you really like that client, it's very likely that you're going to like all their friends. And so if you are able to then go, look, if there's anybody else in your life that you can think of that has similar kind of stuff to you going on and you'd love it if they felt better, feel free to let them know. Here's a couple of cards. Feel free to let them know that I'm here and what we've done together. That's a very, very different conversation, an invitation. It's an inviting them in. And you're actually letting them tell their story, which is amazing. Having the opportunity to celebrate your health is such a cool thing to do. Anyone who's lost any weight in the past, anyone who has done anything specifically for their health and got a benefit from it, it's a wonderful thing to share it. It's part of the therapeutic process. Hey, Kirsten. Hey, Jane. Hey, Christine. Hey, Alison. Hey, Moira. Nice to see you guys. So that is, everyone like my new back deck? I thought I'd share it with everybody. I've been decluttering, and as of many of the people in my different zones, and I've decluttered the back, and it looks amazing. I love hanging out here now. All right. So, and you know, invitation, there's always a gold nugget in these conversations, and it might not be the actual one we're talking about. So if you haven't decluttered and you're a little inspired, go right ahead. All right. So that's a referral. That's how to have a conversation to help more people. Like, I really want to help more people just like you. And I know that, you know, it's very likely you know someone in your family or your friends that could do with the same kind of help. If you feel at all moved, can you give them a card? It's easy, right? So that's that, having conversations to help more people. Then the next one is having conversations to help more people through a partnership, through a practitioner, through another business owner, through a doctor. Dun, dun, dun. And it's so funny to see the emotions that happen with my beautiful Naturopreneurs when I say, okay, we're now going to go and introduce ourselves to doctors. Now, the beautiful thing is this week in the club, we've had this amazing challenge to go and introduce ourselves to the local heaps around the place, because interestingly enough, they are people and human beings too. And they're human beings that have health-related issues. They have families that have health-related issues. They have workplaces that have health-related issues. And we know stuff about health-related issues that we can share with them. And if they know we exist, then we can really, truly help them. If they don't know we exist, then we are holding back our gifts and our talents, and we're essentially deliberately not helping them. So what then happens when you want to go and introduce yourself to the local doctor? Now, this is first. Any of you guys out there that have heard the bull rule that doctors think we are all quacks, it's time to break that. Because in actual fact, one of my favorite referrers was a general practitioner. I had multiple specialists referring to me, and it continues to be the case in many practitioners, and everyone who I met at the Revolution series, every single capital city I went to, there was multiple people in the room that had their best referrers or even worked in integrative medical practices. So it's a load of rubbish that they all think we're quacks. Now, just the same as some of us are a little bit standoffish on doctors, some of them are a little bit standoffish on us. But we don't know one another yet as human being to human being. So how do we get to know one another as human beings? Well, sending an email probably isn't going to cut it, is it? How do we get to know one another as human beings? We introduce ourselves. So you have to actually show up at these practices. Now, Jane, who is on the conversation today, I'd love your input, Jane. Jane was actually the gatekeeper to one of these medical practices before, a practice manager. Now, a practice manager is the person that matters within a practice. They look at the comings and goings of clients, the comings and goings of doctors, the comings and goings of reps, the comings and goings of everything that happens with paperwork and otherwise into and out of a medical practice. And they are the person that you need to talk to. The doctor, on the other hand, it's their job to see so many people, and it must be such an interesting space to be in, to have to be so confined to time limits, so confined to being able to look after all of these types of things that we haven't had experience in, to be honest. We get an amazing opportunity to dive deep with our clients that they just don't get to. So the person that you need to be talking to the most within a medical practice is the practice manager. Now, the practice manager is usually an amazing human being who is also time poor, but because they are the front of house, because they are there with the public all day, every day, they are human driven. And so being able to talk to them and connect with them in a quick and easy manner, to be able to ask quite easily and quickly, hey, this is who I am, this is where I am, here is something that I would love to be able to help the practice with. I'd love to be able to meet with the doctors. And here is something. So you're going to hand them something. Sometimes it's a letter describing what you do. Sometimes it's a couple of flyers. Sometimes it's something, right? It's something to leave there. And then it's up to you to ask, does the practice have a lunch and learn? Does it have a staff meeting every week? Is there a time when I can visit most of the doctors at the same time to help their clients? Not for me to get referrals, to help their clients, to help the clients of the practice. Now, again, the practice manager has seen all of these clients and patients. They've very likely been there quite some time and know all the families and things. And so if you're genuinely there to help them further, to help those families that are there, then it's more likely you're going to be able to get an in. Leaving your little bits and pieces along the way, and can I organize an appointment? And then the fantastic bit is in the follow-up. The fabulous is in the follow-up. The funds are in the follow-up. The follow-up is where it happens for everything. And this applies not only to getting referrals, but also to keeping clients. It takes 7 times less energy and money to keep a client than it does to get a new client. So the follow-up is where it's at. So you've left your bits and pieces. The practice manager usually will say, I'll try and organize a time. I'll talk to them. I'll find out when our next available time is. Emailing then is the best time to go with it. So emailing then is the best time to go, hey, it was so wonderful to meet you the other day. I love the practice. I got online and I researched. I got online and I looked, and you're the only practice in the area that does this. You have this particular type of doctor. It has, like, actually starting a conversation just like you would with a human being, instead of putting your business hat on and doing the business thing and then coming out kind of weird and asking for referrals. If you got into a conversation, you would say, oh my goodness, I can't believe you do that thing, whatever that thing is. If it was a human being, hey, I can't believe you do that thing. I'm so excited about it. I actually help similar people to you. I'd love to help the people that come to you. These are the types of things I do. Can I come in and have a chat? Now, going into a medical practice, they are used to a way of life. And that way of life that Jane beautifully pointed out this week is around freebies and free lunches. So if you were to take in a nutritious lunch, you would stand out for starters, because a lot of them are used to getting the bakery goods from down the road and a whole bunch of coffee. So if you were to bring in something nutritious, something that stood out, that was in alignment with the way that you practice, that would stand out in their minds. Secondary to that, they're used to freebies from reps. Like, think about pharmaceutical reps, think about our own suppliers bringing in lots of goodies and bits and pieces. The same thing happens with them. So if you can make their life easier by bringing in, say, a referral pad, a green referral pad with your information up the top, so that they can then just write a little note to whatever it happens to, write a little note to their client. Maybe it's a pen from your business. Maybe it's it's tea that has, think about things that are quick, easy, and don't cost a lot, that they would be used to be able to have right in the middle, and it would stand out for them. So you've then got the freebie. So then if you get your in and you get to go and have your lunch, or when you get your lunch with them, you're then going to share with them in a succinct way, 15 to 20 minutes, what you can help them with. You are not there to ask them to send you clients. Even though in the back of your mind, you're sitting there going, ugh, what comes out is, how can you help them and the people that they serve? Because they serve so many people. They are just as time poor as us. They have families just like us. They need to look after themselves just like us. And they care a lot for their clients the same way that we do. So how can you help them help their people? And how can you help their people? So if you happen to know it's a family medical practice, then you want to be talking about all the family conditions that you can help with. And we're talking in a medico speak, but not going overboard with, case studies and blah, 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 blah. We're talking in a way that we're trying to get our message across without going full academia on them and without going full layman on them. So somewhere in the middle here, where you are sharing your knowledge and sharing your experience. So the quickest way that I have found is by sharing an experience. Like, I've seen a client recently who got diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, and then you're giving them a way that person presented to you without giving them a full academic version of what irritable bowel syndrome is, because you're treating humans just the same as they are. And for instance, the client that I first had the same conversation about, she was stopping 6 times and she knew where all of the public toilets were on the way to her work. So she would have to drop her kids off, and then she would have to go to work, and she would stop 6 times to go to the public toilets before she went to work. Only about 4 or 6 weeks later, after we had connected, we had talked about all of her diet, we got really deep into her lifestyle and some other stress issues, and I gave her some really easy things that helped her microbiome and other things. She now only stops once on the way to work, right? That kind of conversation is going to stick in someone's mind more than anything else, because they're going to instantly go, oh yeah, I had 20 of those last week. Oh yeah, I had so many of these last week. And then they're instantly going and filtering through all of the clients that they've seen in the past however long and go, yep, I can send her. Their optimal amount of time that they spend with people to get paid on Medicare is 7 minutes. Any minute past that, they're getting paid less. And so if you're in there going, I can spend a whole hour diving deep into this person's stressful situations, their family history, all of that stuff, and I'm able to help them on a lifestyle level, that you're then able to essentially lift a weight where they haven't had the opportunity to give that to somebody, to pass them to you. And then to be able to refer back and forth and then ask them what they need. So apart from sharing food, sharing a story, sharing your knowledge about their particular speciality, what they love to treat. You then ask them, so what types of conditions do you guys have the hardest times with? Because I'm used to treating, and we have the gold area of, we don't want acute situations where people are in hospital, and we also don't want the black and white kind of situations where they're diagnosable. We want the bit in the middle where there's that ongoing care, that and the complementary care that can come along with helping symptom relief, particularly for mental health, particularly for gut related conditions, particularly for stress and long-term pain or sleep issues. These are all grey areas that if a doctor had to deal with that day in, day out, and they would have that patient there every single week having to talk to them for their 7-minute slot. So we have this amazing chance to help in these types of areas. We have to get that across, but at the same time, we have to get across how important it is for us to be able to go, so who could I refer to you? What do you guys, what is the main focus for the clinic? What do you guys have amazing results with? And they're going to go, oh, well, the most recent things with asthma and kids and this and that, and so does, fertility, and because she came from a family planning background, and so does this other stuff. So when you are able to talk to them about, oh, great, well, I've got a couple of fertility clients that I'd love to pass on to you. Oh, who else could I refer to you? That would be awesome. And because you're just down the road, I could refer to you. How can I help you? You. We getting it? All right. So once you've got across all of that, what did I say at the beginning? The fantastic, the fabulous, and the funs are in the follow-up. After you have been there, you then go back with whatever you happen to have from a flyer's perspective. Now, another mentee of mine has just been invited to put her business up on the TV screen in the clinic. Her naturopathic business clinic is going up on the medical clinic TV screen, and I'm sure she's not the only one. But that type of conversation happens, and then you get these opportunities. If you don't step up, and through the fear that there's going to be, 9 people possibly in that room, 4 of whom are madly doing, writing up reports or writing up diagnoses and trying to keep up with all of their work for the day. So they might not be 100% in on listening to you, and don't get offended if they're not. It might be that they have a million other things to do, and the thing that stands out for them is that story that you told about the IBS client, or about the insomnia client, or about the allergy client. Whatever it is that stands out for them, that next person that they see just like that, they're going to go, well, I can give you this for now, but it'd be great if you go and see the naturopath down the road. So feeling the fear, leaning in, having the conversation anyway, and then not getting offended, not taking it personally, because it's not about you. It's not about you. There is so much else going on in a medical practice that you don't see in an everyday situation. Leaning in, and if there's one person in the room that sends you one other client, do you know what? You've helped one extra person that you weren't going to help. And it's that. It's, you can get to help one more person by having this conversation. So it's not a referral, it's being able to help that one other person that wasn't going to get help the way that you can give them help. That one other person that wasn't going to get access to the naturopathic or natural health information that you have, because you stepped up and you felt the fear and had the conversation anyway, you could help one other person, and that person could help one other person by telling them about their experience and sharing it. And you just never know what could happen from that. So even it's not all about you being the quack or getting the referral or winning or failing at this conversation. It's about being able to help one extra person. Oh, and I love the idea of that. It always gives me a ripple effect feeling, like I get goosebumps thinking about. If you guys could just have one extra conversation where you didn't think you could have that conversation, and it turns into one extra person being helped, it's 2,000 people in here That means there's 2,000 extra people that could get helped. And then if they were to tell one extra person, that's 4,000 extra people that could get helped. Just by you being brave enough for 3 seconds to stand in front of a practice manager and go, I'd love to have a conversation, and bring, like Moira just said, some sushi and some blueberry chocolates, and we could all just, I'd love to find out who I can refer to your medical practice. Having the fear, doing it anyway, and then being able to help somebody, I think that's what it's all about. So don't get yourself tripped up on the idea that it has to be perfect. You are going to fumble on it at first. Don't be getting yourself all worked up that not everybody in the room is going to love you. Focus on the one that does. And don't get fearful about the word referral. It's literally a conversation to help somebody more than what you were going to help before. All right. My challenge for you guys, there's always an actionable step if you're in here, is please take up the challenge this week to have a conversation with somebody that is very likely to have somebody that you can help, and find out how you can help that person. Be it a hairdresser down the road, because I bet you she's had an alopecia client, or a stressed out client, or a client who's had menopause, or a client who's just had babies and has that weird little wispy hair. Oh, that was me. Maybe it's talking to a beautician. Maybe it's talking, go on, you can do it, to the medical practice that that you have in your mind right now listening to me, that you're like, no, Tammy, no. What would it take to go and have that conversation and not get it perfect and not get tripped up on it, and just go and have that conversation? Because the potential is that you could help one extra person that you aren't helping right now. The force is with you. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope this has been really beneficial. If it has, and somebody who needs to hear this as well, another practitioner who needs to hear this as well, please share it and take up the challenge. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.